Hello, lovely people. I don't know about you, but sometimes I observe myself and I become aware that I'm on a moment. The specific moment that I appear to be on at the moment is that I am super duper interested in like non-fiction, history-related things. And I've been buying books as such. And so I just thought I would sort of just do like a little mini haul that is the books that I have bought to fill my little like non-fiction historical cravings.
Dooby 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 doo. Dooby 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 Sophie Vlogs.
I'm just going to dive into it because why not? First up is a book that I was so excited for the release of. This is The Restless Republic, Britain Without a Crown by Anna Keay. I have like a whole standalone review on this channel that is me reviewing her book on the Duke of Monmouth because I loved that book. I will link that down below should you wish to listen to it. Can't guarantee the quality, don't remember what I said, but I really liked the book. I was so interested when I heard that this was coming out. This is looking at the time when we got rid of the Charles II and we had Parliament and we had Oliver Cromwell. A book that I have read that is based in this time period before is The World Turned Upside Down. Cannot remember the author at this moment, but I will write it in the description down below. And that was all about like radical thought. And a lot of that was exploring this time period where we were a republic, because it was a time when different Protestant sects and like were exploring like what it means, like what religious beliefs they have, and you know, like these ideas like levelers, diggers, stuff like this, like these radical ways of thinking, because if you've got rid of your king, like what else can you achieve? Like this world that is like completely topsy-turvy, this potential for new ways of being, and that was really, really great. So I'm really interested in this because I would say that period where it was like Parliament was in charge, that kind of thing, like I don't feel like I know it that well. I know like what you're taught in school, which is like, and then Oliver Cromwell and the Puritans took over and they cancelled Christmas and everything was boring, and then Charles II came back in and the Merry Monarch brought back the theatre. You know, like I feel like that's the line I was given. This particularly is following a bunch of people. So Anna Trapnell, the daughter of a Deptford shipwright whose visions transfixed the nation, John Bradshaw, the Cheshire lawyer who found himself trying the king, Marchmont Needham, the irrepressible newspaperman and puppet master of propaganda, Gerard Winstanley, who strove for a utopia of common ownership when no one went hungry, William Petty, the precocious scientist whose mapping of Ireland prefaced the dispossession of tens of thousands, and the indomitable Countess of Derby, who defended to the last the final royalist stronghold on the Isle of Burne. I am so excited to dive into this. I really want to find out more about this particular time that I really don't know that much about. All of these perspectives and these people sounds fascinating, so I am super duper excited. To talk about Charles II, I also picked up Mistresses, Sex and Scandal at the Court of Charles II by Linda Porter. This is on my radar because of an Instagram account called Alice Huntsman. I will link her down below. She reads a lot of historical non-fiction, and I have been really enjoying getting a sense of what she's reading, and this was one of them, and I thought it sounded really interesting. And like I know, like, you know, Nell Gwyn, know a bit about her, read some Jean Pleiades when I was a kid, but I would be interested to know about all of the other women and like how much of a role they had, how much of an influence they had, but also just like what this particular court was like. So I might go from this to this and sort of be like, this was happening and then this is what came in, you know, like a fun little reading moment. After that is Jane Austen at Home by Lucy Worsley. I enjoy Lucy Worsley's non-fiction writing. I enjoy her TV programmes. I find her generally quite fun and accessible. I preferred her Georgian book than her book that was about murder mysteries, because the book that was about murder mysteries kind of felt like it just told me the plot of loads of murder mysteries, whereas the book that was about the Georgian court was like a very accessible piece of history writing. I don't know a lot about Jane Austen's actual life. This says that it tells us how and why she lived as she did, examining the places and spaces that mattered to her. And I think that sounds like an interesting lens to sort of learn more about this person, because I've read a bunch of Jane Austen books. I'm generally interested in like Regency England, so I'm interested to actually understand a bit more about her, because I know like loose things, but nothing major. After that are two books that definitely inform each other. I love Pre-Raphaelites, what can I say? First up is A Circle of Sisters, Alice Kipling, Georgiana Burne-Jones, Agnes Poynter and Louisa Baldwin by Judith Flanders. I read Fiona McCarthy's Edward Burne-Jones and the Victorian Imagination in 2021, and it was one of my favourite non-fiction books of the year. It was a chunky boy, but I loved every moment of it, and I hadn't realised how well connected the Burne-Jones family were, and all of the, like, marriage connections they had that linked them to people. So I've been wanting to read more Pre-Raphaelite stuff that is focused on some of the women in the circle, because I think that they had their own contributions that are less frequently overlooked now. There has been a movement to acknowledge them more, but definitely in the past were overlooked. So I'm really interested in learning more about each of these individual women. Obviously, Alice Kipling and Georgiana Burne-Jones are the two that I know better than Agnes Poynter and Louisa Baldwin. So this is going to be really, really interesting. Another little pre-Raphaelite journey for me. I also have Pre-Raphaelites in Love by Daley, which is also kind of about the women. So on the back it says, who were the dreamy, luminous women who haunt their pictures? And what happened when those beautiful models found themselves idealised and adored by the men who painted them? Could they negotiate the passage from goddess to woman, step down from their pedestals into real life? I do not know the answer to that question, but I'm excited to find out. So this is sort of me wanting to continue my Pre-Raphaelite reading, but in a way that is highlighting some of these women. I'm probably going to space those out, because I feel like if I do them too close to each other, I might get a bit overwhelmed with Pre-Raphaeliteness, but I'm excited that they exist. This is much more contemporary history, but I also picked up Now You See Me, Lesbian Life Stories, edited by Traies, which is on my radar because of, I'm part of a group on Facebook called By Visible Bristol, and I think someone posted in this, or Queer Stories. I'm part of 2 Facebook groups that are to do with queerness, and someone posted in one of them about this book when it was released, and I thought it sounded really interesting because it's older lesbians talking about their lives. It draws on unique new archives of life stories recorded by Traies. In their own words, women from across the UK recreate a time when being lesbian meant hiding your true identity or paying the price for breaking society's rules. So this is like a very personal book, and I'm super interested to just hear a lot of stories from just like women who were just living their life. You know, I feel like a lot of my queer non-fiction reading, which is all on this shelf behind me, is often about like notable figures from history, like Forbidden Wales was like, here are some famous Welsh queer people, whereas in this it's just like, these are just normal lesbians who are living their life, and this is what their life was like, and I'm really interested in learning about that. The final 2 are a bit more of like an art history kind of thing. This one is Wreck, Géricault's Raft and the Art of Being Lost at Sea by Tom de Freston. This is an uncorrected proof copy, but I did see the final copy in Waterstones the other day, and it looks beautiful. And I went over and I touched it, and I was just like, ah, little angel choirs. The Raft of the Medusa is such a famous painting. I did see it when I was in the Louvre, and it was incredible. And it's a painting that I have always been affected by. So I was interested in this because I am also interested in this painting, but also I believe that it is also looking at like the art of being lost at sea, the art of how you transform these deeply awful things that happen into artwork. That's my understanding, but I'll be interested to see if that is an accurate understanding of what it actually is. And then finally there is Threads of Life, A History of the World Through the Eye of a Needle by Clare Hunter. I am so interested in books like this. For example, I've read The Golden Thread by Cassia St. Clair, which goes through a number of key like moments from history, like the importance of wool to Vikings. I have also got Thread on my to-read pile, which again is going through the world in different fabrics. Just this like potted history of the world through textiles is a topic that I really like. So I'm also really excited to dive into this one and just carry on this little like exploration of textile worlds. That's everything I want to talk about in this one. I would really like to hear if you have any recommendations of historical non-fiction or like art history non-fiction, anything like that, like this kind of vibe that I'm really into at the moment. Is there anything else that you're like, this is the book you need to complete your collection, this is what you need to explore next as a topic? I would really love to hear other people's enthusiasms, because I'm definitely like on one at the moment and I'm really enjoying it. But yeah, I hope otherwise you're having a really lovely day. I will see you next time for something different.